AI is making you dumber. Around the summer, an article came out, and I didn't see it get a lot of coverage, and I thought it should get. Around June 23rd, 2025, MIT and a company called Psychology Today made articles on how ChatGPT it may be impacting your brain. The publisher Andrew Chow, I guess, basically talks about a study with this lady Cosmina. Cosmina is a full-time research scientist at MIT Media Lab since 2021, and she decided to throw out a a study, which basically they had, I believe, three groups, and they asked them to write several SAT essays using OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google search engine, and nothing at all. So one group used OpenAI, one group used Google search engine, and the other used nothing at all. Respectively, researchers. Alright, so one group used OpenAI, one group used Google search, one group used nothing at all. They hooked them all up to an EEG, which is just something that records your brain waves and your activity across a lot of regions. And they found that of the three groups, ChatGPT users had the lowest brain engagement consistently, neurally, so how your nerves fire and all that, linguistically, and behavioral levels. Over the course of several months, ChatGPT users got lazier with each subsequent essay, often resorting to copy and paste by the end of the study. I mean, I'm in college right now. You know, I know. That's true. We're just gonna throw it in ChatGPT and get it over with. So, this paper basically explains how ChatGPT is making your mind dull. And in the world where they're trying to make everything AI autonomous, and YouTube is making AI mass review accounts and even demonetize some people at some points, and the government is asking for AI to be autonomous and AI weaponry. We have to take a little slowdown and a halt and say some of these LLMs could be harmful if we're not sure about our work. Now, Cosmina made this article because she doesn't want some governor or some politician to say 6 to 8 months down the line, let's do ChatGPT kindergarten or AI kindergarten. So she released this article as soon as she could, and I think she did a great thing, but this didn't get as much media as I thought it should. So they're literally hooked up to their head like nerves and sensors that you can see, and it shows on every level that ChatGPT users are functioning way worse. Let's hear what she said about what made her push this paper out as fast as it could. She didn't do the full peer review. So what really motivated me to put it out now before waiting for a full peer review is that I'm afraid in 6 to 8 months there will be some policymaker who decides, let's do GPT kindergarten. I think that would be absolutely bad and detrimental. She says, developing brains are the highest risk. So Cosmina is a full-time researcher at MIT, and since more and more people are using it in school, she's like, all right, let's do a study, let's do a peer review on this. So the groups, the group that wrote essays using ChatGPT all delivered extremely similar essays that lacked original thought, relying on same expressions and ideas. Two English teachers who assessed the essays called them largely soulless. The EEGs revealed low executive control and attentional engagement, and by their third essay, many of the writers simply gave the prompt to ChatGPT and had it do all of the work. It was more like, just give me the essay, refine the sentence, edit it, and I'm done. Now, for the other two groups, what they did, I think this is the most fascinating part of the article and what actually happened. because it's not just doomers. It's not just, oh, mea culpa this. Let's uproot everything and throw it out and just go back to caveman times. We can still use AI. We can still use ChatGPT. We can still use these things for good and to actually help us think. So the brain only group conversely showed the highest neural connectivity, especially in alpha, theta, and delta bands, which are associated with creativity, ideation, memory load, and semantic processing. Researchers found this group was more engaged and curious and claimed ownership and expressed higher satisfaction with their essays. The third group, which used Google search, also expressed high satisfaction and active brain function. The difference here is notable because many people now search for information with AI chatbots as opposed to Google search. So having to do research on your own makes your brain function high. Having to go and read certain articles makes your brain function high as well. After writing the 3 essays, the subjects were then asked to rewrite one of their previous efforts, but the ChatGPT group had to do so without the tool, while the brain only group could now use ChatGPT. The first group remembered little of their own essays and showed weaker alpha and theta brainwaves, which likely reflected by a bypassing of deep memory processes. The task was executed and could say that it was efficient and convenient, Cosmina says, but as we show in the paper, you basically didn't integrate any of it into your memory networks. The second group, in contrast, performed well, exhibiting a significant increase in brain connectivity across all EEG frequency bands. This gives rise to the hope that AI, if used properly, could enhance learning as opposed to diminishing it. Like you've seen that in the second group's contrast was very much different from the first group. The EEG frequency bands gave off different numbers. It showed that they actually had good long-term memory and those kinds of things. They could integrate and they could remember in more details. I mean, this is literally like a age-old adage, or I don't even know what you want to call this, but like basically doing the work on your own gets you there, or you understand it more than just cheating and going off of somebody else. Because essentially, just getting ChatGPT to answer your thing is doing that. Like, you're not. It doesn't really take any brain power to just type in a couple words and get a full essay. So I think I'm not against ChatGPT being in schools. I think teachers and psychologists and psychiatric doctors should work more connectedly together and hopefully get us something that can actually be productive to schoolwork, so we don't feel the need to go behind the teacher's back and use ChatGPT or do this and do that, when we can just be like, hey class, let's use ChatGPT, but last 10 minutes, last 30 minutes of class, first we're going to do this on our own. We're going to write this little 30-second paragraph, or we're going to answer these 10 questions, and then we're going to go back. We're going to make this contrast from this, and I want you to explain in detail, and after that, you can use ChatGPT to rewrite it or something. I don't know the exact solution, but there's evident signs, there's clear signs that ChatGPT may be impacting your brain and making you dull. That's really all I got for this one. There is like AI, people are talking about making Claude bots, OpenAI, OpenClaw, autonomous and with AI weaponry to give to the government. So that scared me, and I remembered this article coming out, and I just thought it made so much sense to make a video on. That's about it. Peace.